Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the technical takeoff session for Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop, powered by Intune. I am Go Komatsu, Product Manager of Windows 365, and I am joined by my colleague, Jason Parker, Product Manager of Azure Virtual Desktop. In last year's technical takeoff, we talked about how Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop can help address your needs to enable hybrid work in your environment so you can choose the best solution for your organization. In this session, we will go one step deeper into how you can deploy and configure Azure Virtual Desktop session desktops and Windows 365 Cloud PCs leveraging Intune. We will demonstrate how Intune can help simplify your management experience and also keep your organization secure. Let's start about how we think about each product. Windows is a critical foundation for our partners, customers, and business. Whether it is natively installed on a modern hardware or delivered from the cloud with Azure Virtual Desktop or Windows 365 Cloud PCs. It is key to enabling productivity and collaboration for experience. Azure Virtual Desktop allows organizations to enable secure remote desktops to applications with maximum flexibility and control over configuration and management without compromising security. You can reduce cost by leveraging exclusive Windows 11 and 10 multi-session capabilities by running multiple users on a single virtual machine. Windows 365 is a software as a service or SaaS solution. It combines the power and security of the cloud with the familiarity of the PC, allowing employees to stream their personalized desktops from the Microsoft Cloud to the device. Let's first talk about the power of Microsoft Intune with Windows 365. With Windows 365, we created a new category of computing, the Cloud PC. Just like we brought Office to the cloud with Office 365, we brought Windows to the cloud with Windows 365 to enable new scenarios for the new world. At Microsoft, we are always working on ways for Windows 365 Cloud PCs to meet each organization's unique needs. This is why we have created several plans to continue to invest in improving the experience. Some of your experience may need one plan to do the best work, where others may need different plans. We are providing options that fit for your organization. Windows 365 Enterprise provides access to what we call a dedicated cloud PC, one that is available 24/7 for your employees. In addition, we recently introduced a new plan, Windows 365 Frontline, which focuses on meeting the needs of employees who share computing resources with coworkers and who do not need 24/7 access to a dedicated cloud PC. We have a dedicated session for Windows 365 Frontline Cloud PC in this technical takeoff, so please refer to that session for more details on Windows 365 Frontline. We are also working to improve the admin experience for Windows 365. One of the high desired capabilities was enabling scope tags on Windows 365 objects. Scope tags are part of the role-based access control. Admins can use them to create organizational system within their tenants based on geography, business unit, or however they need. Applying scope tags to Windows 365 objects such as Azure Network Connection, provisioning policies, custom images are becoming available soon. All management of Windows 365 is performed from the Microsoft Intune management portal. Intune is a requirement and serves as the management pane. All cloud PCs are Intune managed, and co-manage will become a requirement if you would like to use Config Manager. The first step you need to test Windows 365 is to acquire licenses. There are various types of licenses that range from 2-core to 4-core to 8-core versions. After you purchase the license, the next step you need to take is creating a provisioning policy. I am going to demonstrate this. We are going to start from the Intune console, and Intune has a new admin experience in public preview. Let's change to that view. You may notice that the Windows 365 blade is now named Cloud PC Creation. However, this is a label change, so everything on the right side remains the same. So you can start to select provisioning policies and choose to create provisioning policies. We will call this US West Engineering. Next, we will be selecting the license type. You can choose between Enterprise and Frontline. For this demo, we will be choosing Enterprise. You will next select the join type from Microsoft EnterJoin and Hybrid Microsoft EnterJoin. This demo will use Microsoft EnterJoin. Next is to select the network. In this demo, we will be selecting Microsoft Hosted Network. After you select the hosted network, you will select the geography US West and region automatic. And if you would like, you could opt in to use the single sign-on experience. Press next, and we will be choosing the image that you will be using. You can select between the gallery image and the custom image. We will select the gallery image for this demo. Next, we will be configuring the language that you would like. The default is English. You will be able to choose from the list displayed here of which makes most sense for your users. We will continue with English. And if you would like, you could opt into Windows Autopatch from this configuration. Press Next. Now we will be choosing the Entra group that you would like to provision the cloud PCs. We will select US West Engineering Group. And click Next. In this screen, you will check if all of the configurations are correct. And if you're good, press Create to start the provisioning. Once the provisioning policy is created, that will initiate creation of the cloud PCs for the users that were in the Entra ID group. And within 30 minutes to an hour, those cloud PCs will be available for the end users. Now let's take a moment to talk about Intune Suite. Intune Suite is a suite of 6 solutions that bring together mission-critical management and security tools into a single cloud-based console, provides an integrated first-party solution, eliminating the need to install third-party applications. It includes the remote help, endpoint privilege management, enterprise app management, cloud PKI, and advanced endpoint analytics. All of these features are available for Windows 365 and will work on cloud PCs, just like any physical Windows endpoint. I'd like to demonstrate remote help and endpoint privilege management running on cloud PC. To use Intune Suite features, you will first need to purchase the Intune Suite licenses. Then you will go to Tenant Administration and enable remote help. In this tenant, I have already enabled remote help. And to use remote help, you will need to ensure that the remote help apps are also installed on the cloud PCs. From here, I will be signing in to 2 cloud PCs. One with the light theme will be the user. The other with the dark theme will be the helper. For both cloud PCs, the remote help app is launched here. In the cloud PC for the helper, I will generate the security code and pass the code to the user. The user will enter the code and start the session. On the helper side, you will be able to select if you want to take full control or just view the user. The user will allow or decline. Here we allow. And if we go back to the helper screen, you will be able to see that the helper is able to view the user's desktop. He can also request control. And if the user allows, that can allow the helper to take control and perform any help desk work that they need to do. Next, let's take a look on Endpoint Privilege Management. If you have purchased Intune Suite, you will see Endpoint Privilege Management in the security blade. I have created a policy and assigned to the US West group, the same group that we used in the previous demo. You can see that the policy have applied to the cloud PCs. So now let's go back into the cloud PC and see how the endpoint privilege management works. So here we will select to run with elevated access. And you can see that there is a pop-up window asking for business justification. So as you can see, Intune Suite just works on Windows 365 cloud PCs. Customers deploying Windows 365 receive additional benefits by adding Intune Suite. Windows 365 and Intune are better together. Okay, now let's move on to Azure Virtual Desktop. Jason, please take it away.
Thank you, Go. That was a great overview of Windows 365 and Intune better together. I'm Jason Parker. I'm a product manager within Azure Virtual Desktop, and we're going to jump into how Azure Virtual Desktop is powered by Intune for your configuration and management needs. Azure Virtual Desktop brings together all the aspects you love about Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, or VDI, and brings them to the Microsoft Cloud. It is a robust cloud VDI solution that is the right fit for you if you already have in-house IT capabilities in VDI or a partner that you work closely with and would like to retain. This way, you can migrate and modernize your on-premises VDI deployment to the cloud, extending the value of your investments and experience. Azure Virtual Desktop is set apart by its customization capabilities. If you're looking to stream only a remote app experience rather than a full desktop, or if you need to support a specialized workload like GPU capabilities for developers, Azure Virtual Desktop is the right choice for you. Azure Virtual Desktop provides leading cloud VDI with exclusive access to Windows 10 and Windows 11 SKUs designed for the enterprise and multi-session environments. Access Windows virtually from anywhere using either our personal host pools, which utilize Windows 10 or 11 Enterprise, and provide users with a dedicated desktop built for their workload. Our pooled host pools, which leverage Windows 10 or 11 multi-session and allow for enhanced cost savings by allowing multiple users to connect to a single virtual machine. Supporting both Entra-joined and Entra-hybrid joined devices, Azure Virtual Desktop gives you full control over the configuration and management of your virtual infrastructure. Your users will always be secure through our Reverse Connect protocol, allowing for a traditional remote desktop experience using our full client or from a browser. Finally, Azure Virtual Desktop provides first-class flexibility while reducing your overall cost. Our consumption-based model ensures you only pay for what you use. Core features like Start VM on Connect and scaling plans help ensure you have the right number of resources during peak usage, and when necessary, the resources start when a user connects. By combining the power of Microsoft Intune and Azure Virtual Desktop, you can now configure, manage your VDI environment within the Microsoft Cloud. When managing Azure Virtual Desktop with Intune, It's important to understand the differences in management capabilities between personal host pools and pooled host pools. Personal host pools are typically managed similarly to physical PCs due to their dedicated functionality. When paired with the Windows 10 or 11 Enterprise SKU, you can access all the capabilities that Intune offers. Pooled host pools, on the other hand, are managed similarly to traditional VDI environments, where multiple users connect to the same session host and the infrastructure is frequently redeployed using an image management process. Most of the Microsoft Intune configuration and management capabilities are now available for pooled host pools, and these capabilities include configuration policies, which are limited to the settings catalog, but now includes FSLogic settings for user profiles and Azure Virtual Desktop settings from the ADMX templates. Device compliance and security through targeted policies for compliance and conditional access. Endpoint security to keep your devices protected. Application deployment with the requirement that the application must have system context or a machine-wide installer. Note that there's no support for remote apps or MSIX app attach. Windows Update configuration, which is limited to security updates, and you'll still have access to script deployment and remote actions. Now that we've covered all the great benefits of Azure Virtual Desktop, let's discuss how to enroll your devices into the Microsoft Intune service for a seamless cloud-based configuration and management experience. First, ensure that you are properly licensed and enabled to use Microsoft Intune. This is an important prerequisite that we won't cover here. You essentially have two options for enrolling your devices. During host pool creation, you can enroll your devices as Entra-joined, and during the creation of the host pool, the session host will automatically join or enroll into Intune. Second, group policy. For organizations with Entra hybrid joined devices, you can leverage group policy the way you normally have to enroll your devices. Be sure that you use the device credential, as we'll see in the next couple of slides. Here, you can see that the automatic enrollment during host pool creation is as easy as selecting Microsoft Entra ID and then clicking Yes for Enroll the VM with Intune. For group policy management, you want to create a new group policy object or leverage an existing one. Find your section for MDM, which is Microsoft Device Management. Select the Enable Automatic MDM Enrollment. And when enabled, ensure that you select Device Credential. This is going to be critical for your devices that are Entra hybrid joined. Now that we've covered the Azure Virtual Desktop overview and the power of Intune with configuration management, let's talk about some of the known limitations that you'll encounter while using multi-session operating systems. First, the configuration policies may not apply correctly. And this may be because you've not selected the settings catalog and you've selected templates or another configuration that's not multi-session. As we discussed in the previous slides, there are multi-session enrollment options for your Entra-joined devices or Entra-hybrid joined devices. The settings catalog items are in support of ADMX-backed policies or ADMX-ingested policies. These are going to be available through the settings catalog, but not available as templates or other ADMX imports. Intune does support Windows Update for your security updates. However, feature updates like upgrading from 22H1 to 22H2 is not supported. Lastly, be sure you do not enable the roam identity setting for FSLogix. FSLogix is secure by default and will not roam identity-based tokens, which may interfere with Intune registration and provisioning. Now that we've covered the overview of Azure Virtual Desktop and how Microsoft Intune can help with your configuration and management for Azure Virtual Desktop, let's jump into our demo so you can see some of the settings we've been talking about. From the Intune Admin Center, we're going to go to the Devices blade. From Devices, today we're going to focus on two of the settings available to us, which are going to be compliance policies and configuration policies. We'll go to Compliance Policies, and we'll click Create Policy. We need to select our platform, which is Windows 10 and later, and then click Create. We're going to give our compliance policy a name. Then we're going to click Next. There are a variety of options for compliance that are available to you. For purposes of this demonstration, we're going to focus on system security. We want to make sure that our Azure Virtual Desktop session hosts are secure using antivirus, anti-spyware, Microsoft Defender, anti-malware, and we want to make sure that those are kept up to date with real-time protection. We'll click Next. The actions for non-compliance, the default is to mark the device as non-compliant after a period of days. We'll say 2 days, but be aware there are options available to you to send an email to the end user or just add the device to a retire list. We'll click Next. Scoping tags won't be covered in this video, but they are available to you for use. Under assignments, you can include groups, all users, or all devices. We're going to select Add All Devices, but we're going to pay attention to the Edit Filter section here. We will want to make sure that we are including just the devices that are used for AVD multi-session, and we do that by filtering by the device operating system SKU, where that equals server RDSH. Now that we've selected our filter, we can click Next. And now we can review, before we create the policy, all of the settings that we've chosen to make sure that they're right before we continue. These all look right to me, so we'll click Create. The policy gets created, and we can wait for those devices to check in to make sure that they are compliant. While we're waiting for that, we're going to go back to devices, and as stated previously, we're going to look at configuration policies. Configuration policies allow us to create a profile for our devices, and we're going to select a platform for Windows 10 and later. Now the profile type is going to be Settings Catalog. Settings Catalog is the only option available if you're configuring pooled host pools where you're using Windows 10 or 11 multi-session. If you're using personal host pools with the Enterprise SKU, you have the option to use Settings Catalog or templates. So keep that in mind. We're going to create our profile. Let's give our profile a name. And we'll click Next. Now we have the option to add our settings from the catalog, so we'll click the Add Settings button here. And now we have a picker that allows us to choose all the different categories of settings that we would want to apply to these machines. For AVD settings, we want to go to the Administrative Templates, Windows Components, and then we're looking for Remote Desktop Services. We're going to expand out Remote Desktop Session Host, and here you'll find the Azure Virtual Desktop settings. These are the settings that are also found in the Azure Virtual Desktop ADMX template that you may have previously used with group policy. For the purpose of this demo, we're going to enable RDP short path setting, and we're going to go back up to the top because there's some new settings that are in the settings catalog which we want to talk about, and that is the FS Logic settings. All of the FS Logic settings that are available in the ADMX templates are now available in the settings catalog. For this demo, we're going to focus on profile containers. And we're going to select the options that are part of our standard example, where you can find on our documentation site at aka.ms/fslogics. We're going to select Delete Local Profile when VHD should apply. We want to make sure that the product gets enabled, locked retry count, locked retry interval, prevent logon with failure, prevent logon with temp profile, reattach count, reattach interval, and our VHD locations. Once we've selected these settings, we can close out of the settings picker, but keep in mind, all of the items in the settings picker are available to you to configure your multi-session session hosts. From the administrative templates, we see our Enable RDP short path for managed networks. We're going to enable that. We're going to enable VHD locations. Here we're going to specify our Azure file share. We're going to enable all of our other settings. And we're going to update these items based on the standard example found in our documentation. Once we've set all of our settings, we can click Next. Again, scoping tags are not covered in this video. Assignments, similar to our compliance policy, we're going to add all devices. Go to our filter, select the include filtered devices in the assignment, and here we're going to choose AVD multi-session. Once we select that, we can click Next, and now we can review all of the settings that we've applied and expect for our AVD session host to have. We'll click Create. And with a quick refresh, we now have a new configuration policy. So how do you know if one or the other or both is best suited for your needs? Let's get into it. Windows 365 really shines for customers who want to quickly stand up a remote or hybrid work solution, especially for on and offboarding new employees, contractors, and interns. It is a great choice if they want to do it without much in-house infrastructure or VDI expertise. Cloud PCs can be set up, deployed, and easily scaled or resized to keep up with the changing user needs. These are the key factors that customers think about when they consider Windows 365. On the other hand, Azure Virtual Desktop can be a great fit if you already have an on-premises VDI deployed or you want to move to the cloud and you have the expertise on hand to stand up and configure a cloud VDI environment. It is also a great fit if you would like to modernize your VDI investments and advanced virtualization functionality like custom workloads, app streaming, or multi-session virtualization. Some customers also decide that Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 are better together. Thank you for joining our session on Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop powered by Microsoft Intune. Hopefully you've been able to see the benefits of configuration and management used within these products and maybe how they're better together. I'm Jason Parker, accompanied by Go Komatsu, and wishing you a great rest of your session.